Tri-City Sports Now. I'm Marky Billson. You can hear us. If it's a little staticky on AM 1420, then I tell you what. Why don't you listen to jetbroadcasting.live online, be it on your tower, your laptop, your iPhone, your iPad, whatever it is, your Android, it's whatever you can get a URL on with a speaker, okay? And also, maybe I can't get that right away. Well, then like us on Facebook, 1420 WEMB Sports Radio. We archive this show. You can see this handsome face of mine, the interviews that we do, and we're really getting a lot of likes and listens for that. And so you can watch Tri-City Sports Now whenever you like. And even with the search engine on Facebook, so, I heard he interviewed this person. It'll come up. There you go. So just, and my next guest, it's the first time we talked to him, but it's not the first time he's ever spoken to a Tri-Cities audience. His name is Jack Stallard, and grew up in Irwin, Tennessee, despite the fact he was born in Fort Worth, Texas. So there you go. We both know Fort Worth and Irwin there, Jack Stallard. But for the last 33 years, he has been a sports editor at a daily newspaper in East Texas. Originally went to ETSU, then went to Kilgore College, became a sports editor at 21 of the Kilgore News Herald, and since 97, he has been the sports editor at the Longview News Journal. There you go. So anyway, he heard about us here, and he said, let's reach out, let's talk about this here. And there are so many, ties between East Tennessee and Texas, starting with Jason Witten. So forgive the elementariness of this question here, Jack Stallard, but I want to ask you, over there in Longview, you're 2 hours away from Dallas, how often do you cover the Cowboys? Do you send a staff writer out there, or is just modern day sports writing and the budgets of newspapers don't allow that? How do you cover the Cowboys?
Well, Marky, it's a little bit of both, to be honest. When I first came up here, we never missed a game. Sundays, if they were at home, we were there, and they play a lot of teams. We've got a lot of local kids. This is such a great area for football. A lot of these high school kids go on to the NFL. Trent Williams with the Redskins. Eventually, we'll be back with the Redskins, I believe. He's from Longview, Texas. We've had just numerous guys, and when they come through there and play the Cowboys, we definitely go and cover those. It has slowed down a little bit as far as our live coverage goes, simply because, shorthanded a little bit, and my guys, we concentrate a whole lot on high school football here, and I work them to death during the week, and myself too, and so you get a Sunday off, you kind of just want to sit at home and watch a game instead of traveling to Dallas. So, but we do keep up, and we do follow the Cowboys, and it's a huge fan base here in East Texas for the Cowboys.
I do understand that. Well, then tell me a little bit about Jason Witten. I guess years ago I did a feature on Jason Witten. This was when he was entering the NFL draft. And I got to tell you something. I know he was projected at the time, late first round, and he lasted all the way to the third before the Cowboys took him. And I remember thinking, I'm not at all surprised, because I did the feature on him. It was at the time I was writing for a newspaper in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and suggesting maybe he would be a good selection for the Steelers to get, for instance. But, I didn't come away thinking that he was all that articulate. I got to be honest with you there. When you have gone and had your interviews with the local product, Jason Witten, what's it been like when you've talked to Jason Witten?
Well, it's funny. It's one of the first times I ever actually face-to-face talked to Jason. I'm a media advisory board member for it's called the Texas Built Ford Tough Player of the Week, Player of the Year, and they have the banquet, and they typically have it. The Cowboys in Ford are big in this, and they have the banquet up at the stadium. And so the first time I met Jason, he was speaking. He was the guest speaker at that banquet. And I walked up to him and told him, said, "Hey, Jason, I'm from Irwin, Tennessee." And so we started talking Elizabethton and Irwin, and I played on the same field, named after his grandpa. I think it's something different now, but his grandpa was, had his name on the field there. So we chatted a bunch, and I started asking, "Hey, can I get someone to take a picture of us to, let my folks know back in Tennessee, that I got to meet you?" And I forgot, and we held up my camera. The girl taking the picture is actually one of the Cowboy cheerleaders. She held it up, and he said, "Well, wait a minute." And I'd forgotten I had a Texans camera cover on my phone. I couldn't find a Cowboy one at the time, so I had a Texans. And I didn't think he was going to take the picture with me. he acted a little bit upset. I mean, you don't want to upset a 6'5", 260-pound man there, but he turned out to be great. Turned out to be just a nice guy. As far as articulate and a speaker, I'll be honest, I said the same thing. He's not a great public speaker. I think he got a lot better last year during Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not his thing. He's just a guy who wants to go out and play football. He knows the game better than most people you'll ever meet. But as far as sitting down, he gave a decent little speech that night. It wasn't one of those where you want to go run through a wall for him or anything, but he knows the game, and I think the main thing is he cares about the game, and I knew that he cared about the kids that he was talking to that night. So, just a great guy, and I'm happy he's back with the Cowboys this year.
Well, what kind of a season do you think he can have? I mean, he's on the other half of 35, the other side of it. He's taking a year off, and you're not working out probably as... I can't imagine that you're working out as furiously as you would if you were playing football, if you were announcing that sort of thing. Yes, I'm aware of, Michael Jordan came back from the Barons and led the Bulls to the NBA title, and Mario Lemieux came back for the Pittsburgh Penguins after a few years off, and he led the Penguins to the Stanley Cup semifinals his first year back, although after that he tended to drop off, just like Michael Jordan, I guess, in with the Washington Wizards. What can we really, you think, expect out of Jason Witten this season?
Well, I mean, Jason Witten's 37, and that's not old, but that's old in football, and especially with the pounding he takes because he doesn't give an inch. When he gets the football, he wants to punish you before you tackle him, and if he's blocking you, he wants to punish you. He's just an old school football player, and his body, I'm sure, was beat all to heck. And I don't know how much he recovered over that year. I'm hoping that that year off helped him recover, and maybe he's got a little more fresh legs than he did even in the last couple of years of his career. The layoff itself, I don't know. I mean, I'm anxious to see. I just think if the Cowboys get 45 catches out of him this year, 6 or 7 touchdowns, I think that's going to be perfect for the Cowboys because they've got other weapons. They've got Amari Cooper. They've got Dak. Obviously, they've got Zeke eventually. Hopefully, he doesn't have to be the man. In the past he's been the main safety net for whatever quarterback's been out there, Tony Romo most of all. But it doesn't have to be that. He can be a safety net, but he doesn't have to be the man. He does not have to catch 10 passes a game for the Cowboys to win. The thing that I'm most excited about is going to be his leadership. I mean, they've got young tight ends. Now, he didn't come back to be a teacher. He didn't come back to be a cheerleader. Jason Witten came back because he thinks he can still play football and contribute and maybe win a championship. But he is going to be a leader, and he is going to teach these young guys something. And there's a great example of that today in the Dallas Morning News. For some reason, people are still writing about Cole Beasley, who the Cowboys let go. And Cole is still mad about the way he was used, and he's felt like he's been disrespected, and he's spouting off about it, which is fine. And Jason Witten, somebody asked him about it, and all Jason said was, hey, I get it. All of us want the ball. We're all competitors. No hard feelings here. We're wishing nothing but the best. That's the way a leader handles it. That's the way a veteran handles it, and I hope some of the young guys pick up on that. Hey, let's not spout off. Let's not worry about what Cole Beasley says or does. Let's worry about the Cowboys. So I think his most valuable role is going to be doing stuff like that.
But can the Cowboys realistically expect to beat out the Eagles or be a team to beat in the NFL this year without Zeke Elliott? Because this holdout seems to be getting worse and worse by the day.
It's going to be tough. I mean, bottom line, the Cowboys are 28-12 with Zeke, and they're 4-4 without him. So, they're a really good team with him. They're not a horrible team without him, but they're a mediocre team without him. They need Zeke. I think they can win without him. I don't know that they can win the division without him. And just because, it's not just what he does, but it's what he allows other people to do. If you've got Zeke back in the backfield, then you have to account for him, which frees up Amari Cooper, which frees up the other receivers, and Jason Witten. It takes pressure off of Dak Prescott. I mean, it's just there's a whole dynamic to it there, more than just his 25 carries or 30 touches a game or whatever he gets. They need him, and I think he'll eventually get paid, but he's going to do it on Jerry Jones' time.
What about Eric Berry? I keep hearing that this is somebody that the Cowboys are interested in, the former Tennessee safety, but he struggled with injuries. Kansas City let him go. I guess the question that I want to ask is, there is this idea of veteran safety. What is a veteran safety really worth when you're trying to put together the salary cap? But we keep hearing that, Berry has talked to the Cowboys. Has that ship sailed, or could Eric Berry actually be wearing a star this year?
I'll be honest, I haven't heard anything about that in the last week or longer. I did hear when it first popped up. It was a nice topic of conversation. But the issue with that, and the problem, unfortunately for Eric, who I would love to see in a Cowboy uniform because Tennessee guy, but the problem with that now is the Cowboys secondary during training camp has been the stars. I mean, they've got guys out there that are just lighting it up, and they're so excited about them. And I know, you've got a couple guys who are a little bit dinged up, but they're expecting that to be one of the major strengths of the team. So I don't know that Eric Berry fits now just because I don't know where they would put him. He can contribute somehow, but I don't know if he's willing to come back and be someone who sits on the bench and a spot player or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't think he right now is a good fit for the Cowboys.
Okay, we're talking to Jack Stallard. He grew up in Irwin, graduated from Unicoi County High School in 1984, right before the football team got good there in the 80s, I guess, and then went to Texas and has actually been a sports editor, started at the Kilgore News-Herald at 21. Now that's impressive, in my opinion, in all this, and is now in his 33rd season as a sports editor at daily newspapers in East Tennessee. I've got a break coming up in 45 seconds. Can you hold on until through the break, and we can go another segment? I'd love to ask you about the differences, what you think sports culture East Tennessee as well as East Texas. Do you have 15 more minutes?
Absolutely, whatever you need.
All right, well, he's coming home by a phone. Jack Stallard! He'll be joining me as Tri-City Sports Now comes back after this.